good friend of mine. Yes, folks, Dion from Dion Talk Financial Freedom came online and basically said Zuber is wrong. What is Zuber talking about? What is Dion talking about? Of course, we are riffing on 50-year mortgages. Now, to be clear, Dion and I agree on many things, of which I will highlight. But we disagree on whether a 50-year mortgage is good or bad for homeowners. So let's get into it. I'm going to do this live, so there is no editing. It's just off the cuff. I do have some notes. But let's get into first, where do Dion and I agree? First and foremost, Dion and I both agree that if you are an investor and you are investing for cash flow or for yield, a 50-year mortgage is a great idea. Again, if you're an investor looking for cash flow, or in my case, yield, a 50-year mortgage makes complete sense. Number two, if you already own a home or several properties, 50-year mortgages will only do one thing, and that is raise the value. What will happen very quickly after the 50-year mortgage becomes standard is, assuming the math works out, home values will go up somewhere between 8 and 12% just because we have stretched the payments. So if you are a baby boomer, a Gen Xer, somebody who is lucky enough to have 1 or 8 or more properties, you will like a 50-year mortgage simply because by holding that asset, your value, your net worth will go up. And then number three, perhaps the anchor approach to Dion's call out this morning. Dion's point is basically valid and correct and worth listening to. Real estate is not about timing the market. It is about time in the market. Dion did an excellent job of talking about home values over the decades and the fact that, frankly, mortgage pay down was not where people built wealth. It was simply owning an asset, letting inflation do its thing, and over time, your value, your net worth goes up because basically the dollar goes down. So, as you could see, Dion and I agree on almost everything. I unfortunately have one just real life experience. What we are basically talking about now, if you assume Dion is right, and again, he is right on many regards, it means when you are 65 or you are 70, you only have a couple of options. One, because you still have a $3,000 mortgage payment, you have to work longer. Instead of hoping you retire at 65 or 67 or 70 or 75, you will have to work longer. You just will. You will have a $3,000 mortgage payment. The whole idea of a 30-year mortgage was eventually it would be paid off and your shelter cost would go to near zero. Next, another option. You get to be 65 or 70, and now you are not healthy. You can't work anymore. It's not your choice. You just can't find work. What do you have to do? Because again, you can't afford the mortgage payment. You will be forced to sell. Now, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe having baby boomers or whatever they'll be, 70-year-olds being forced to sell, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that will unlock inventory. I personally do not like that idea. Again, in my situation, my mother lives in a home that she owns free and clear. She could not afford to live in that home if she had a mortgage payment. She just couldn't do it. I would have to pay for it. It's not an option. This is, I think, the missing piece of the 50-year mortgage. Already today, you can Google these facts or ChatGPT these facts. People at 65 have an average or median net worth of 160 grand. Will get Social Security. They will get these other things. But if they have shelter costs at, again, $3,000, they can't retire. It's not an option. That is the one thing that you hope to be right about Dave Ramsey, is when you're 65 or 70, you don't have that shelter cost. So now let's talk about something else that everyone, including myself, did not talk about. And that is the mortgage rate of a 50-year mortgage. Everybody talking about a 50-year mortgage today assumes, like I did this morning, that the rate on a 50-year mortgage would be the same as a 30-year mortgage. And let me just tell you, that is wrong. You could look at the curve of interest rates, and the longer the interest rate, the longer the period, the higher the rate. Don't believe me? Go check out what a 15-year mortgage is compared to a 30-year mortgage. Folks, you can get a 15-year mortgage today in the 4s. You will get a 30-year mortgage in the 6s. What will you get a 50-year mortgage? In the 7s? Here's the deal. I have done some rough math. If a 30-year mortgage is 6% and a 50-year mortgage is 7%, your savings is $20, $28, something like that. Think about that. Yes, the term is 20 years longer, but the interest rate is 1% higher. Your savings is less than $100 a month. Does that make any sense to anyone? So again, most people today talking about 50-year mortgages assume the rate will be the same as a 30-year. And in our bond or our lending environment, that does not make sense. The longer the term, the higher the interest rate. It is just how it works. And then finally, I want to go back and ask you, when you're 65 or you're 70 years old, do you want your shelter costs to be at or near zero because it's paid off? Or do you want to become a forced seller because you can no longer afford it? You have to get that equity extraction. Think about this. Again, Dion brought this up, and Dion is right. You buy a home today for 400 grand. You fast forward 50 years, 40 years. The $400,000 house is worth $1 million. $1 million. $1.1 million. But guess what? You're 70. And the only thing you have is that equity. You can't pay the mortgage. You have to sell it. You sell it, you pay taxes, you end up with 550 grand or whatever it is. But now that's it, you're out. So at the end of the day, I truly believe, again, for investors, a 50-year mortgage, or shoot, why not just do interest only? Interest-only loans for investors. Again, interest-only loans for investors makes complete sense. But for homeowners, who their largest purchase is usually their home, a 50-year mortgage is a death sentence. It means you are tied to the job. You will work year after year after year after year until you become a forced seller. You don't want to be a forced seller. So at the end of the day, Dion and I are boys. We are friends. This will not disrupt our friendship in any way. I believe he is missing the bigger picture. I believe he is mathematically right. I believe he is right in everything except reality. In the real world, we want our 65, our 70, and our 75-year-olds to stay in their home if that is what they want to do. And they can't do it with a 50-year mortgage, in my opinion. Again, folks, if a 50-year mortgage comes to bear, asset owners win. Dion, Matt, myself, all the millionaires, we win. We don't need it. We don't need an extra 8 to 12% of our net worth. 50-year mortgage is not the answer. I did see, given Lance at Resi Club, we have people talking about portable mortgages. That is a game changer. Assumptions, game changer. But that portable mortgage That is a game changer. If we could figure out a way to make mortgages portable, meaning you sell your home, you take your mortgage with you, that could change the game. In fact, I'll go this far. A portable mortgage could actually lead to lower prices. I am dead serious. If we had portable mortgages, you would see a lot, millions of entry-level houses on the market at the same time. And if you know anything about supply and demand, that rise in supply would lower prices. It would be a game changer. Alrighty, folks, again, hope you enjoy this. This was very much a one-off. I want to thank Dion for being provocative this morning and calling me out. And always respectful, always fun. Guys, have fun. Take care of yourself. That's my view from my backyard. That's the pool. I'm going into the hot tub in a minute. Right there. Got a barbecue over there. Got a fire pit. Life is good. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. Peace.